Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This week we have some breaking news. Basketball players and all this stuff, mob ties, all that bullshit. So I want to give you a brief indication of what's going on. Right now I'm being bombarded by the news media. This happened, I believe, last Thursday. It happened in two separate indictments, one about card games, another one about sports players giving up information, doing the points. They would not make the basket when they could. They keep the points low so they could win the low bets and stuff like that. It's been going on forever, as far as I know. And these poker games have been going on forever. We always had these big games, Molly's games. There was all kinds of big games. And they let people play big, high stakes poker. They cut the pot. They make money. They're making $20,000, $30,000 per game. 2 games a week at $60,000 a week. So here they go. It's not enough, $60,000 a week. So now they start to rob them, get greedy, all kinds of fake equipment, fake cards, fake everything. And they're bringing people in, and they blew the whole thing. I don't really think that the Mafia is in depth in here. It was low-level guys. And then you want to threaten the guy who didn't pay yet. He's a multi-millionaire. He's a famous guy. What do you mind? Now, that's the thing that starts to bring heavy charges. From a bullshit gambling pinch, you make some threats, and now there's Mafia. That name is all over the place. Everything's all over the place, and now the charges go up.
Tonight, an NBA coach and a star player among more than 30 people indicted in a pair of illegal gambling cases that prosecutors say put pro basketball in bed with the mob.
Your winning streak has ended. Your luck has run out. Violating the law is a losing proposition, and you can bet on that.
Federal prosecutors say the Mafia paid Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups and former Cleveland Cavaliers player Damon Jones to lure unsuspecting victims to high-stakes poker games in the Hamptons, Las Vegas, Miami, and Manhattan. The Bombsters called the celebrity athletes face cards and the victims fish.
What the victims, the fish, didn't know is that everybody else at the poker game, from the dealer to the players, including the face cards, were in on the scam.
Prosecutors showing off technology they say the Mafia used to rig the games, including an altered card shuffling machine and an X-ray poker table that could read cards face down, allegedly cheating victims out of more than $7 million.
And there were real victims here.
Correct, absolutely.
Lured to these poker tables by Chauncey Billups?
And others, exactly.
It's out now, greed, stupidity. We've had games like this, and we kept it legit. They came in heavyweights, played cards, 50, 100, 200,000. You're cutting the pot. At the end of the night, you cut after paying people and everything. You're walking away with, like I said, 30, 40, 50,000. A couple of games a week, it's 80, 90, 100,000 a week. And don't rob them. Treat them like a king. Give them booze, broads, massages. All treat them like a king. Let them play cards. But no, you got to invent ways to rob them and create all this bullshit. Bring in these athletes to sit down. Who gives a shit about them sitting down in the card game? I mean, I know I wouldn't. It wouldn't faze me. I'm looking to play cards and I'm looking to gamble. That's the way the Mafia did it. Now, these guys who did it, and not only that, they have a guy who is one of them. He was an informant. He was an informant. Everybody knew him. They know his name. There's paperwork on him. So they bring him into the loop. Shane Hennon. He's an informant for years. So don't you think this guy's whispering in the government's ear? He's now a confidential informant. That's probably one of the ways or one of the reasons why the government was all over these cases and they got pinched. The stupidity is mind-blowing. And then Gambling is not a big deal. You're facing 4, 5, 6 years gambling. Now they make a stupid threat, and they bring that to a whole nother level. I can guarantee you this. Basketball players that don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. They probably don't even know true Mafia guys, real Mafia guys. The threat was to pay on time the debt that you have. If you lose money and you didn't have it on you, they would lend you money. And now the guy maybe didn't have it to pay back right away. But these are wealthy people. You don't have to threaten him. He's going to pay. He's a gambler. So the whole thing is ridiculous, really. They're like this, swindlers, bullshit artists. That's the Mafia of today. No. So I'm not surprised. I know about it. I don't know them. I don't know. I know some of them guys who got pinched, but not really, not personally. To this degree, I was the underboss. I never knew the shit like this happened. I knew there was games. So I guess some guys who are not made guys or captains or underbosses or bosses, they probably don't know shit about this game. They get an end, probably. But that's all they know. They're not involved. Whenever there's crime, there's going to be people. The old timers, the bosses, the underbosses, and heavyweights in the mob, most of them are gone. Either dead or arrested, doing life sentences or doing time or just quit. This is more like the Gowanus Club or something, the Mafia now. They don't kill. There's certain things they don't do anymore, which I think is a smart move. But doing this stuff is just low-level, thuggerish guys who want to act like a mob guy. You're threatening a guy who's worth 5, 8, 10, 12, 50 million dollars that he's not going to pay. You just ask the guy, he's going to pay. He borrowed the money, he's going to pay. And you want him to come back. Why would you even threaten him? And I guarantee you the coach and these people probably didn't even know who they're talking to or what's going on. They knew a little bit. I think they're in trouble. At bare minimum, the players, the coach, they're finished. They'll never play fucking basketball again. The NBA will throw them out. Nobody will sponsor them ever again. They threw away a fortune for pennies. I don't know if they're going to stick, but the government has been watching them. There's a guy who's previously an informant, probably been talking to them for a long time. And I understand out of some of these guys who just got pinched, 1, maybe 2, already flipped. They're dead. At bare minimum, I don't know. They'll probably go to prison. I don't think for a long time. I hope not. But their careers are over. He'll be thrown out of the Hall of Fame. He lost everything at a greed. And they'll never be, this young kid playing basketball. He's a great basketball player. He's going to go back to the schoolyards and play basketball. They'll never make him play. Sponsors will never go near these people again. Their career is over. Just think about it. A pot could be 100,000, 150,000. 5% is the cut. Don't go to the Mafia. They cut the game. So they take 5% out and put it on the side. At the end of the night, they pay all their help and do their thing, and whatever's left, 30, 40,000, 50,000, the people who are running the game get their end. They send an envelope up to the top. Those guys get ends. I wouldn't imagine that anybody who's a captain or even a made guy and above has no knowledge of what these guys were doing. They're taking the envelope, so they're stuck too if they're caught with it. But a boss, he don't know what's going on in that bullshit. He just knows there's a game, and he got an envelope. Nobody got killed. He don't imagine this is going on. I wouldn't imagine it. Why would you do that? It's the furthest thing from my mind. I'm getting an envelope. If my envelope is 5,000, 6,000, and I'm getting that every week, and I'm not even going near the game, not doing anything, why would I even fucking bother with the game? I wouldn't allow we're gonna rob people. No, you're not. Not on my watch, you're not. So higher ups, they're not happy with this stupidity. On the news, allegedly, they said there was allegedly 4 or 5 families involved. 4 families. The Gravano, the Genovese, and maybe the Lucchese's in 1 or 2 games. They had these games in different places. Now, where the infiltration of the Mafia is, when they had the games in New York, they had games in different states, Florida, different states, California. Those games, I don't think, had any Mafia around it at all. The Mafia end came in, I think, strictly in the New York area, because the Mafia is in New York, and they get a whiff, there's a game going to be going on, some associate or May guy knows what's going on, you're going to get an envelope, that's all they know. And if a guy is going to get robbed, and he loses over and over again, he starts to think, oh, it's your jinx, he's never coming back. You're going to lose them. So let them win. Whoever wins, wins. Whoever loses, loses. Just like a regular casino. That's who you're competing with. But when you're going to do all those things, a guy is not going to constantly come and lose to you all the time. Sooner or later, he's going to realize, I got a beautiful hand, all of a sudden I lose to this guy who's got a better hand. Over and over and over again. Bro, what do you got to be, an Einstein? The guy's not a moron, he's a rich guy, he's probably pretty smart, and he says something's radically wrong here. I gamble in casinos, this never happens to me like this. But that's why they bring in these athletes to come and rub elbows, whatever, and they cater to you. Just like the mob did when they started gambling in Vegas. They gave the people everything under the sun. Comp them for meals, rooms, broads, whatever you wanted. Because the money wasn't in robbing the people who came to Vegas. It was when they gambled. Slot machines and everything they had. They know they're going to win. They're not robbing people in Vegas. That's your competition. That's what you're supposed to do. In a nice, fancy hotel in Manhattan, nobody knows about it. You gamble, you enjoy the night. But to rob them like this is ridiculous. One guy, the government is saying, Ernie Aiello, he's supposed to be a Mafia dude. Nicholas Fat and Nick Minucci, don't know him. Angelo Ruggiero was John's long-life friend. And this is the son. I met the kid once or twice in my life. Of course, I knew Angelo and John Gotti, but I never had any real association with him. He was a kid when I met him, young, and he's supposed to be in it, so I know his father. I don't know him, but I know his father. So how did a black coach who made $100 million, who's in the Hall of Fame, how did he hook up with the Mafia? That has grabbed everybody's attention. It's the worst combination in the world. This case became from a bullshit gambling charge that you face 4 or 5 years at max, if it was legit. And when I say legit, not that it was legitimate, but they don't do all this shit. That's what it would have been. Low level, you would have had a small article in the New York Post or somewhere, but you brought everything in here to blow it up. And that's what the government loves it. You know that, Gerard. The government loves this shit. You get a big name. They love it. The news media loves it.
One family behind basketball's biggest scandal. Sammy the Bull Gravano joins me now. Sammy, good to see you.
It's a pleasure. My pleasure.
Let me ask you, how has the legalization of gambling changed the way the mob runs gambling operations? I mean, they used to run the table, Sammy. Now they're just cheating the legal system?
Well, I think they were always cheating the system. Like you said, going back to boxing and different sports, I mean, there was always connections with that. So I don't think it's anything different. And the technology is a lot different. I never heard of anything like that. See-through glasses and rigged tables, and I've never heard of anything like that. I'm terrible with tech anyway, but it's always been like that.
Let me ask you about that, Sammy. You know, how do they convince NBA stars to play ball, so to speak, here? You know, does the Mafia reach out to these coaches and players? How's the connection made?
They don't force them in, that's for sure. They come in very willingly. They're making bets as well. I'm sure that kid, he's supposed to make 13, 14, 15, 16 points per game. So to say a bet under 10, he's not going to make 10 points a game, you're going to get high odds. And what he does is purposely misses a couple of baskets, and then he fakes an injury. He don't come in. He's under 10, and they walk away. Everybody walks away with a lot of money.
I guess it's a pretty simple question. Does any of this, what I just reported, and all the other headlines that go with it, does it surprise you?
Not at all, Ashley. I got to tell you, that was a great opening. You really covered it well. You know, let me put it this way. It's not a surprise at all. I mean, gambling has been major business in our former lives, you know, forever. And I say this, prohibition was terrific. You know, guys made a lot of money, but it came and went. I was in the gas business. Terrific. I had my run, 7 or 8 years, comes and goes. But gambling in that life is never going to go away. What happened here, I believe, is just the tip of the iceberg. It's a major business for the guys. They love it. They're good at it. And, you know, unfortunately, professional and college athletes, you know, they're always at risk because gambling among athletes, it's an extension of their competitive spirit.
I thought that stuff ended in the 70s, but clearly it didn't. And I wanted to ask you about the mob family involvement. 4 out of 5 of the famous mob families in New York were involved. I didn't think they ever worked on anything together, ever. Where am I wrong?
Well, they did work together. There was the Concrete Club. When they have mutual connections and they can bring it together, they work together. On the Concrete case, they used different unions and different, everybody had their own connections for stuff. They put it all together. It was very powerful. And then they split the money. But it's not a normal thing with gambling, I don't think. Usually it's separated in different families. I never heard of this. And when the show is over, I'd like to know where you could buy that machine.
Kind of had a feeling you were going to say that, Sammy. But before I leave that topic for a second, I'm still kind of stuck in the 70s and in the movies. And I want to ask you realistically, from what you know today, like how bad does the violence get when it comes to these debt collectors today? Are they just a punch in the nose like the indictment read, or are they breaking legs?
I don't know. I really haven't done that when they're coming in with 50, 100, 200,000 to play, I can't see how they lose, they leave. They're pretty rich people, and I can't see they're up against the mob and they're saying, I'm not going to pay, where you'd have to give them a beating. Some guys would do that. I don't think that's necessary. And this is where they're really going to get in trouble. Without the violence in this case, just like Michael said, this has been around forever. This is gambling. A case like this, if there's no violence, these guys will plea out to 5 or 6 year sentence, go in and do their time, 3, 4 years, and be out, look like a hero. There's no reason to get beatings. You got the whole thing. You could make a movie of this shit. They probably will, eventually. And these guys lost their careers. They'll go to jail. You know, I doubt if the coach and them are going to do a lot of time. They've got a 4 or 5 year sentence. It's nothing, you know, they didn't do too much. But there's, you know, when you do that too, this is money now that the government don't know about. So you got tax evasion. You could have other charges. Listen, this might be the tip of the iceberg. We don't know yet. Other famous names, LeBron James or whoever his name is, was mentioned that he knew somebody. I don't think he's not pinched. Maybe he's not in it. I don't know, but his name was mentioned. Now, I know if you bring a guy like that to a game, he's got a big name. People want to do a selfie with him. They want to go there and gamble. And they want to mix with this kind of group of people. And that's why they bring these guys in. This motivated these rich guys to come in. When's he going to do a selfie with people like, it's not LeBron James, but people like him with those reputations? This guy's in a Hall of Fame guy. We got pinched for stupid shit ourselves with ecstasy. The thing was worldwide news, right? I got a 20-year fucking sentence. I didn't get 20 fucking year sentence for murders. They love it. They love it. The government, the news media, the public itself, it's exciting. Who did what? Who got threatened? What did he do? What kind of bet? Now, this even hurt all the sports because people bet. Now, I bet you betting will slow down because they're going to think I'm being cheated all the time. I'm not going to bet. This will cure a lot of people from gambling. Going to a game, I don't want to go to a game no more, fancy game. I would rather go to a casino and sit at a table. This is the first indictment with the cards. And they have another indictment. The kid was shilling points and missing baskets on purpose and then faking an injury so he could walk out. He could make 13, 14 points a game if he's blind. There's averages. I'm going to bet 100,000 on that he don't make more than 10 points, less than 10 points. The odds are huge because that is not going to happen. When he's doing all of that, and I know it, of course I'm going to bet 10, 20, 30, 50,000 with odds that are really high if I win. But I know I'm going to win. And that's what he did.
So was Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, who was charged in a separate indictment involving illegal sports betting.
Terry Rozier, right foot discomfort, doubtful to return.
Prosecutors say during this game in March 2023, Rozier, then with the Charlotte Hornets, tipped off bettors that he would fake an injury and come out of the game to enable them to place fraudulent wagers on him underperforming, the winnings totaling more than $200,000.
The proceeds were later delivered to his home, where the group counted their cash. As the NBA season tips off, his career is already benched, not for injury, but for integrity.
Prosecutors also allege then-coach Damon Jones knew LeBron James would miss a Lakers game against the Milwaukee Bucks with an injury and sold that information to bettors, texting, "Get a big bet on Milwaukee tonight," before the information is out.
Let's not, mince words. This is the insider trading saga for the NBA. That's what this is.
These cases, David, in the association with organized crime, threaten to cast a pall over the NBA's opening week. Tonight, the league says it's cooperating fully. David?
Aaron Katersky leading us off tonight.
They got this all down pat. They got them on text messages and going to somebody's house and cutting up money. They're dead. We'll see how it plays out. Stay tuned. If things happen and I find out who did what, I'll let you know. As for that, I love you guys. I'll see you next time. And listen, don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. All of you guys and you other guys, adios, motherfuckers.